Kelly Clarkson's return to her anonymous show was a watershed moment for her career, but it was also a watershed moment for the collective soul of her audience. In the glittering world of daytime television, where smiles are currency and vulnerability are rare treasure, Kelly Clarkson's return to the show was a momentous occasion. It was. In the autumn of 2024, a tragedy struck the Clarkson family. A tragedy struck the Clarkson family like a lightning bolt from the stormy sky. Like a bolt of lightning from the storm sky, the abrupt and aggressive sickness that Kelly's beloved sister Jessica, who was a quiet force in her life and the backbone of their close-knit clan, passed away, which was the cause of her passing. But for Kelly it was a personal apocalypse, a shattering loss that eclipsed the glory she had coveted. Since her victory on American Idol, more than 20 years earlier, the news traveled across the headlines, but for Kelly it was a personal disaster. A break was taken from the television programming known as the Kelly Clarkson Show. Fans flooded the social media platforms with messages of support, using hashtags like #WeLove. Fans flooded the social media platforms with messages of support from fans with hashtags such as #WeLove. Kelly has been trending for several weeks. Behind the scenes, however, Kelly withdrew to her ranch in Montana, a haven of expansive skies and rustling pines, where she could grieve hidden from the prying eyes of the rest of the world. While she was there, she managed the rough edges of her sorrow. While she was surrounded by her children, River and Remington. In a previous interview, she had stated, "Family is everything," and her voice had cracked as a result of her weight of her anxieties that she had not discussed. Her words resonated hollowly. It could be heard in the empty chambers of her heart. A flurry of therapy sessions, late-night songwriting marathons, and peaceful walks with her pets obscured the passage of time, turning the months into a fog. Kelly, a powerful vocalist, who is recognized for songs such as "Since You've Been Gone" and "Stronger," discovered that her voice was muffled by her grief. She poured her suffering She channeled her pain into music, crafting songs that narrated tales of hopes. She wrote songs about broken hopes and rebirths. Stronger than death. A rumor circulated that she will never come back after suffering such a severe blow. Is it possible for the queen of daytime television to retake her throne? Moving forward in time to August 2025. The response yielded a resounding affirmative. The announcement was made through a touching video posted on Instagram with Kelly's eyes shining brightly and her grin appearing genuine. As she spoke, her Texas drawl remained firm. "I've been through the fire," she added. "However, I will be returning to you all, to my sister, to my children, and to each and every one of you who have been my guiding light during difficult times." Shadows. An indication of her ongoing popularity is the fact that the video received millions of views in a single night, beginning on September 15, 2025. The season's debut was scheduled to take place within the familiar walls of Universal Studios Hollywood. When the production team was working behind these scenes, they were filled with a mixture of excitement and dread. Alex Duda, the executive producer, recalled the planning sessions and said, "We wanted to honor Kelly's journey without exploiting it. This is not merely a show. It is her return to her hometown." It was a set that had small modifications such as a warmer color palette consisting of light blues and golds, which evoked a sense of serenity after the storm. Healing harmonies in which guests shared personal stories of loss and healing, and Clarkson covers in which Kelly reinterpreted songs with emotional depth drawn from her experiences was two of the new parts that were presented. There were a lot of excited people in the studio audience on the day of the tape, and many of them were holding placards that said things like, "Welcome back, Kelly," and "Stronger than ever." Backstage, there was a bouquet of wildflowers from Kelly's ranch on the table in her dressing room, which was a tribute to Jessica's passion for gardening. Kelly paced around the room. A stray tear was swept away by her makeup artist, who was also a longtime friend of hers. She hushed. "You've got this." As she spoke, Kelly nodded while holding a locket that contained a photograph of her sister. "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," was the theme tune that was becoming more and more prominent as Kelly made her way onto the platform. There was a flood of love that nearly knocked her off her feet, and the applause was so loud that it was incredible. A flowing shirt in Jessica's favorite hue of lavender, along with jeans and boots that screamed authenticity, was the attire that she wore. It was a simple, yet lovely ensemble. This time there were no flashing sequins. Kelly was being genuine and unfiltered. The first thing she said was, "I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to you. Please accept my gratitude for your patience, your prayers, and your generosity. The death of my sister broke me in ways that I had no idea I was capable of breaking a person." As she paused, the camera took a closer look at her face, catching the vulnerability that made her approachable to the audience. However, it also brought to my mind the reason why I continue to do this. There is connection, laughter, and music. Despite the fact that it hurts like hell, life continues on. This particular episode was a lesson in the art of emotional alchemy. The very first person to appear on Kelly's show was none other than Blake Shelton, a musician who is also a longtime friend of Kelly's. Blake opened up about his own family traumas as they exchanged stories of loss, and the performance culminated with a due of the country song, "Go Rest High on That Mountain," which had the audience in tears. As Kelly uttered the words, "This one's for Jessica," her voice rose to a lofty level, transforming the discomfort into something transcendent. In keeping with the spirit of the event, there were lighter moments are woven throughout. An episode titled Kelly's Kitchen Confessions had her preparing Jessica's renowned apple pie alongside the comedian Tiffany Haddish, with flour flying everywhere and laughter resounding across the room. "Do you see? Giggling and grieving are not mutually exclusive," Kelly joked, her eyes glistening broadly. There was an outpouring of viewer mail with fans sharing their own personal experiences of family tragedy. Kelly was compelled to perform an impromptu song after receiving a letter from a young mother who had lost her sibling. She sang an a cappella rendition of her classic song, "Piece by Piece," which is about rebuilding after you have experienced a heartbreak. The reviewers were ecstatic. The publication Variety referred to it as a point of rebirth, highlighting the way in which Kelly incorporated her grief into the show's narrative without allowing it to overpower the joy. In a time when polished personas are prevalent, ratings skyrocketed, surpassing those of prior seasons, demonstrating that genuineness is still relevant. According to Kelly, however, success was judged in a different way. "It's not about the numbers," she told reporters after the show as they were leaving. "It's about healing together." The show underwent a transformation in the weeks that followed. Through the introduction of wellness professionals, grief counselors, and survivors, Kelly transformed her platform into a beacon for people who are struggling in the shadows of heartbreak. The conversation was normalized by the inclusion of celebrities like Ariana Grande and Dwayne Johnson in a special episode that was dedicated to mental health and featured them addressing their struggles. The spotlight was on Kelly's own music. She released a new tune titled "From the Ashes," which was influenced by Jessica's determination to do what she wanted. In the ruins, I found my fire/sister's light. Burning. Higher are examples of lyrics that have become anthems for those who have lost a loved one. This rebirth was represented in Kelly's life both on and off camera. As a result of their shared loss, she relied on her ex-husband Brandon Blackstock for support in the area of co-parenting. Their divorce had been a difficult process in the past. Vacations to Montana turned into a family tradition during which tales about Jessica circulated through the air like smoke from a campfire. Kelly has even established a foundation in her sister's name which provides financial support to families that are experiencing a crisis and funds research for uncommon diseases. But difficulties continue to exist. Her emotional state was the subject of speculation in the tabloids, and paparazzi followed her around at every turn. Specifically, one story that was particularly intrusive asserted that she was faking strength for ratings. In one of her episodes, Kelly confronted the issue head-on, saying, "Grief is not linear. On certain days I am unbreakable, while on other days I am in pieces. However, simply being present is the reward." As a result of her candor, and potential watch parties were